So here's a quick episode for you. We're almost ready to go to the dyno, test out all the new bolt-ons, and see what kind of power the car now makes. However, there's one last piece missing to this puzzle, and that's a high-flow cat. Specifically, this GESI one from Vibrant Performance. These guys are excellent because they flow really well. This one specifically is made to flow between 300 to 500 horsepower, and it still provides you with the emissions purposes that you need to, go past smog or your local emissions test. It's also OBD2 compliant, which makes it, again, such an excellent investment for a car that has high performance that you're looking, to make more power with. And why do you want to do that? Well, because as you can tell with the S2000's catalytic converter, it's really big, it's really restrictive, so it definitely robs some horsepower. It's great for emissions purposes, but for what we're trying to do, it's not the best application. To simplify this install, I've actually picked up an NVIDIA test pipe that I bought at technotic.com. And the reason I bought a test pipe instead of taking some piping from Vibrant and getting flanges is obviously this is gonna make the install much easier. I now just have to make 2 cuts here, move over the O2 bung, and this will be ready to go versus having to sit around, measure, figure out what bend is what, make sure the flanges are perfect. So to me, this is the quicker, simpler method of installing a high-flow cat.
After some very calculated measurements, I was ready to cut the center section out.
There are plenty of good methods to cut piping, but this bad boy is one of my favorites.
That's because a bandsaw produces one of the cleanest and straightest cuts possible, making it ideal for welding purposes.
Told ya, cutting made easy. Now I've got 2 pieces left. Gonna stick the cat in, double check my measurements, and then I can weld it up. It seems as if, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or the curse of the ASS2000 keeps striking again. Even when you're doing such a simple job as this, something always screws me over. Look at this, check this out. Oh, why does this fit so easily? Well, let me tell you, 2.5 inch cat, 2.25 inch test pipe. I was certain I ordered a 2.5 inch, but hey, this is how it goes. I'm gonna have to make the best of it. I've already gone ahead and cut a piece of that 2.25 inch test pipe out that I'm gonna wrap around on here like this, and bam. Now this fits, it'll weld up. Not ideal, but guess what? I want to get this job done today, so that's the way it's gonna have to work.
I started by seam welding the extra piping onto the test pipe tubing. Then began the tedious task of welding the pipe to the cat. Usually, I'd bang this job out in no time, but because there was some excessive gaps in the missized piping, it proved to be much more hassle than I originally expected.
This is clearly some of my worst work. I don't really know why. I'm just having an off day, I guess. But it's sealed up, it's welded. I can move on to the other section. Let me tell you, it's hot as balls in here trying to weld when it's 30 degrees outside.
I repeated the same steps for the other side of the piping, first tacking it in place, then welding the whole thing up. As for the O2 sensor bung, I cut a new hole and had an existing bung kicking around, which meant I didn't have to cut out the one from the test pipe.
Alright.
Because I'm only working with 110 volt power, I heated the bung up with a propane torch so that it would require less voltage to get good penetration, since the metal is so much thicker on the bung than on the pipe.
Bung, welded in. Finally, I'm done welding. No more. Let's get this bad boy installed.
Thankfully, my measurements paid off, and the new catted pipe fit up just like the stock one.
Well, that wraps up an entirely too long and too painful episode about installing the Vibrant GESI catalytic converter. However, with this done,
we can finally head to the dyno and see what kind of numbers this car makes. Hallelujah. I'm getting out of here because I am way too sweaty.
All right, this episode we only had 2 items, the cat and the test pipe, totaling $530.45, which brings our grand total up to $26,130.01.
Oh. Why is this thing so... Why is this all of a sudden so crooked? Jesus Christ. What the hell? God damn, man.